Hello everyone and welcome back. If you've been watching the channel recently, then you know I've been discussing DLCs quite a lot, and with good reason. With the Dominion Biosin expansion releasing in just 13 days, there's so much to still talk about this DLC and what it could potentially mean for future DLCs. But you know, for the time being, I feel like I've discussed this DLC quite a lot. So if you are interested in it, I do have 2 other videos which you can go on the channel and check out for yourself. But for today's video, we're going to be talking about feathers, and more specifically, a DLC dedicated to feathers. It does definitely sound a bit out of the ordinary, but I do have a few valid points in today's video that can definitely back up the potential for this DLC. So if you do go on to enjoy, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe, as I am trying to hit 1,200 subscribers by the time Jurassic World Dominion comes out. But with that being said, let's get into the video. So as I said at the beginning, the Dominion Biosin expansion releases in just 13 days, and one of the biggest selling points for this DLC is undoubtedly the new feathers. I mean, more specifically, the fact that the dinosaurs have feathers as opposed to just feathers themselves, but you get the point. Near enough every dinosaur in this DLC, with the Dimetrodon being the exclusion as well as I don't need to get into it. More or less, this DLC comes with a lot of feathers, and you know, when you go on the Jurassic World Evolution Reddit, for example, everyone seems to be relatively looking forward to the addition of feathers. And of course, there's numerous reasons to look forward to feathers. I mean, there's new animations, new physics, new dinosaurs, and you know, that's just to list a few. And you're probably asking yourself, well, how does this correlate at all to a DLC specifically regarding feathers? Well, if you've been following Jurassic World Evolution 2 for as long as I have, then you can definitely see that Frontier, they like to listen to their community, and this is a point I've brought up dozens of times. And, you know, if you know Frontier like I do, you know that they like to maximise their profits, which is fair enough. Now, you might potentially be starting to see a few links here, but I'm going to explain now as to how this means we could potentially be getting a DLC that means feathers. Now, going back to the Dominion Biosin expansion, something that so many people are going on about is the missing species. And funnily enough, several of these, quote, missing species have feathers. For example, Oviraptor, Microraptor, Morris Intrepidus, etc, etc. And I know I haven't said stuff like the Atrociraptor or Lystrosaurus, and that's because they don't have feathers, so it wouldn't really at all be relevant. But again, that's a topic I discussed in yesterday's video, so if you are interested, you know, you could always go check that one out. It would help me out, or I'm losing myself. But anyhow, the relevance of deliberately missing out species is actually something that's not too uncommon to Frontier. If you lot have an absolutely incredible memory like me, then you'll remember that in the deluxe edition for Jurassic World Evolution 2, we received, I believe, the Kentrosaurus. And I can also remember that not too many people were happy with this, reason being that Kentrosaurus was in the base game for Jurassic World Evolution. So, you know, it doesn't really make much sense to, you know, get rid of something that we got for free and instead make us pay for it, right? Well, no, maybe not. Maybe this was purposely done by Frontier so that, you know, we could waste more money, and we could potentially be seeing something similar this time round. Something I mentioned yet again in one of my videos the other day was that people are, you know, debating as to whether or not the Dominion Biosin expansion should be free, and, you know, that would make sense. The game is based heavily off of Dominion. And, you know, there's logical reasons as to why it should be free, but there are also reasons as to why it should cost money. One of these reasons being feathers. Feathers are seemingly so exclusive to Jurassic World Evolution 2 that they literally cut the feathers off of the Dimorphodon back when the game released. But this is just another reason as to why we could be seeing a feathers DLC. As I said earlier, Frontier, they want to maximise their profit, which is fair enough. I mean, it's not like it's free to implement all this new stuff, so I'm not going to hate on them for it. But at the same time, they also like to listen to their community. And as a matter of fact, someone's probably watching my video right now that works at Frontier. So, hi Frontier. Yeah. So it just makes sense that Frontier would purposely miss out on including these feathered dinosaurs just so they can come back in, what, several months' time and reintroduce them as part of their own separate DLC. And it's not like us wanting stuff like the Oviraptor, Microraptor, Morris, it's not like this is just sparked from the Dominion Biosin expansion. We have been asking for these since realistically the release of the prologue, what, months ago? I can't even remember off the top of my head, but yeah, point stands. We want these dinosaurs, and it's not like we've not been asking for them. Frontier know we want them, and I feel like that's why they've cut them. Because other than that, I don't really see why you'd cut them. I mean, unless you're planning on implementing them in the future, there really isn't much of a reason. Because as I say, we have been asking for these for a while now. So it just doesn't really make much sense to not introduce them when you could probably make more money from it, unless you were planning on introducing them at a later date. So in conclusion, I can probably imagine we're getting a Feather DLC in the future. I'm not going to say with 100% certainty because I can't really, but I don't really see much of a reason why they'd miss out on an opportunity this big just because they didn't want to, if that makes any sense. But that is all for today's video. If you have enjoyed, please do consider liking and subscribing. And if you have made it to the end, I'm going to say comment justice for the Dimorphodon because, you know, I don't feel like it was fair to get its feathers cut off. But that's all from me. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.